Welcome once again to Chelan County Connection. I'm your host, Randy Rose. Today, our guest, Chelan County Administrator Cathy Mulhall. Cathy, how are you?
I'm doing great, Randy. Thanks.
It is so great to have you on the program today. I've been looking forward to our visit. A little bit about yourself as we welcome you to this edition of Chelan County Connection.
Well, I've been with Chelan County for 34 years. It almost is painful to say that out loud, but started my career in the auditor's office, been with the commissioner's office, though, now about 28 of those years in the role as county administrator.
And some of your interests outside of Chelan County?
Oh, well, wow. I have a lot. I have, of course, my family here in town, and I also, interested in travel and reading. And probably one little interesting thing about myself is that I have a very strong Danish heritage. I speak Danish, love to travel in Denmark, go there often meet people who have some connection to Denmark, and I love to talk about that connection.
Cathy, it's 2025 budget time, and it is the budget season once again. And we're going to get a glimpse into what we can expect for next year. Let's talk a little bit about what you do. And you do, Cathy, play a key role in the county commissioners team. Tell us about your role and kind of break it down for us at Chelan County.
Well, at Chelan County, of course, we have the Board of Commissioners, and they have 6 appointed officials under them, and I am one of those appointed officials. And specifically, I sort of have my eye on the inside of the county. I'm in charge of things like the budget, personnel, IT, facilities, all the fun things, risk management, insurance, all the behind the scene great things that have to happen to have an organization like the county function.
So, can we get a little bit into the 2025 budget? Where are we at the budgeting process right now for Chelan County?
Well, we have gone through the steps of, gathering budget information from all our departments. And then we go through what we call a public hearing process. And though the public doesn't spend a lot of time in our hearings, they are available for the public to participate in. We encourage that. But we meet with every one of our department heads and elected officials throughout the county and go through what their budget entails. And some funds are all together in what we call the general fund, and then there are several funds that are then outside the general fund, but we speak to them about all of those. And now we're done with the hearing process, and we've moved into a process that we call sort of the workshop process, where the county commissioners meet and go through the list of proposals, wants, needs, requests, and tries to look at the bottom line to see where we are. We hope to get a preliminary budget done in early November, and a final budget hearing is on December 9th.
Okay, so tell us about the December 9th hearing. That's a public event.
It is, and it'll be via Zoom as well as in person. It's usually I don't want to say anticlimactic. I think it's a wonderful day for me because the budget is done and put to bed. But by that time, I think the workshops, I guess, are the more exciting times when we're really looking at these proposals. By the time we get to the hearing, we're down to just these are the numbers and things balance at that point.
Cathy, do you feel pretty confident about that December 16th deadline?
Yeah, I actually think we'll have our first hearing on the 9th, and we can opt to then continue that hearing until the 16th. And I think we will likely continue it till the 16th because we get those last minute numbers in that we try to, tweak the last minute things in the budget and get it finalized. So.
Chelan County Administrator Cathy Mulhall, our guest on Chelan County Connection. Cathy, give us a little bit of a heads up on, maybe some hurdles facing the county in 2025.
Yeah, I would say the biggest hurdle we have is our revenues. Chelan County is like all other counties in that we have, revenue issues and revenue issues caused by the idea that we are capitated on our property taxes. We only can gain our property taxes by 1% a year, and that is our biggest source of revenue to the general fund, which is the fund that has the most activity for the county overall. And each year, as we sort of clamp down on that cap, um, we end up, having a harder time and harder time. I feel like that hurdle gets a little bit taller
Mhm.
each year as we go through that.
Cathy, are there any other concerns right now?
Yeah, I'd like to sort of move to the expenditure side of things. That is always, a hurdle in that we have increasing costs of employees. Over 75% of our budget is wages and benefits, which obviously outpace that 1% that we get on taxes. Another big hurdle that we have this year is going to be our public defense costs. We are hearing that our Supreme Court in Washington State is considering the Bar Association's request to change our public defense caseload limits, which will create a need to increase that contract that we have for our Council for Defense, and in a pretty dramatic way over the next 3 years. Um, but as this season, as in all budget seasons, the hurdles just seem to get a little higher and a little taller, and mainly because of what I was talking about earlier on the revenues, and that our revenues seem to be dwindling. Um, like I said, we get the 1% tax increase plus a little of new construction each year. But then growth management designed for counties to really have all the things that generate other taxes like sales tax to happen in the city. So the county's sales tax is really by design to go down. So a lesser tax base for us to work with, even though we have more and more things that we need to spend money on. But overall, our goal will be to pass a balanced budget in December with revenues and expenditures in balance with one another.
Our guest this time out on Chelan County Connection. Very proud to have Chelan County Administrator Cathy Mulhall with us. Cathy, clarify for our viewers and your constituency, where do the taxes go when we write a check to Chelan County Treasurer? Who gets the money? How's it spread out?
Well, that's always a fun question. I love that question because many people say, well, I pay the county so much money in taxes. Well, those tax dollars go to so many different places. Our assessor's office, they are the ones that create your assessment, and then our treasurer sends you a bill based on that, as we have set our levies for all these different things. But you're sending into Chelan County the money that goes to schools, fire districts, junior taxing districts, cities. 57% of the tax bill that you are sending into Chelan counties goes right back to the state of Washington to pay for public schools. Then we have 11% of our taxes are going to fire districts, 6% to junior taxing districts, 5% to cities. We have our regional library gets 4%, port districts get 2%, and the county we get 9 for our general fund and 6% for our county roads. So that's a lot of percentages, but your tax bill that gets paid to Chelan County doesn't stay with the county entity itself.
Well, Cathy, thanks for breaking that down for us.
Well, you're certainly welcome. I think it's a great time to educate the public on where their tax dollars are going.
I know there's a program called Girls State, and I know that this program's become very near and dear to you. It's basically been around since the late 40s, and it allows high school girls to get a little in-depth knowledge about our government. Let's talk about your involvement in Girl State. What's that all about?
Yeah, I've been involved in Girl State since 2004, so it's been quite a few years. But Girl State is a program put on by the American Legion Auxiliary, and it's for high school girls that have just finished their junior year in high school, and they get selected to come to Girl State, and Girl State teaches them about government, how government functions in our cities, in our counties, in our state, and in our national level. It teaches you the two-party system. Um, it, it it lets them live and create their own communities. I think the most exciting part about Girl State for me, and maybe I'll go down a rabbit hole here a little bit, is that they learn the two-party system. And we hear so much in the news about the two-party system, and you have to be liberal or conservative, Democrat, Republican. Here, they get to create their own parties. They build planks of the ideas that they have to create their platforms, to put candidates in front of one another, and they have elections. And it's all, of course, in a mock government kind of sense. But one thing I always take away from it is, we hear about young people spending too much time on the internet and not caring about their communities. And here I get to meet young ladies that are invested in their communities, that really give me an idea that there's hope for future leaders in government. And that's why I really, really, truly love the Girl State program.
Well, thank you for your commitment to that and your 34-year career with Chelan County. Thank you so much for all your service, Cathy.
Well, I've enjoyed almost all the minutes of it. Close.
All right, Chelan County Administrator Cathy Mulhall, thanks for joining us this time out on Chelan County Connection.